Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to discuss a very good and hot topic called Dispatcher. So Dispatcher is used in AEM for front end. So we'll understand how Dispatcher works, what it is Dispatcher, how we can install it, and what are the good things that Dispatcher can handle and handles in AEM. Okay. So without wasting any time, we'll proceed with AEM Dispatcher. So basically AEM Dispatcher is a HTTP server with additional benefit and mechanism you can say. So is AEM Dispatcher? So AEM Dispatcher is a caching and load balancing tool for AEM. It is basically built in Apache HTTP server. Alright, and it acts as a layer between user and AEM instances. So suppose think of it as like whenever user request for any URL, so that your request first gets served by AEM dispatcher server, and then AEM dispatcher further forwards that traffic to backend instances, which is publish instances. Okay, so on top of that, like AEM dispatcher improves performance and security. We'll understand how it improves performance and security later on in this chapter. Okay, so key rule you can understand, like it cache AEM content and reduce load on published instances by almost 90% plus. All right, so let's proceed further. So why AEM dispatcher? So suppose if you don't use AEM dispatcher, what will happen? Every request will directly hit your backend servers, which is publish instances, and it will unnecessarily create high load on that publisher instance, because see, there will be multiple requests which are same, but those requests will be hit by backend instances, which will take time to process those requests, and ultimately it will overload the publish instances. All right, also the request will be slowed down, the high CPU, I mean server load, I mean you can say like CPU will be high, and user response will also be not that good because the server might be have slow. You need to put more infrastructure into it, which will ultimately increase the cost, and additionally like it is not good from security point of view as well. Okay, so what will happen if you use dispatcher? So it basically caches the responses. So whenever the user comes again, eh, they might get the request in milliseconds, which will improve the user experience, and performances also be improved because the request will not be hitting the backend publish instances every time. All right. Uh, and then you can also improve the scalability, you can improve the security, and it also enhance the costing also. I mean you can save few dollars on costing as well. I mean not few dollars, but depend, it is not related to costing. You can think of it like a better user experience. All right, so we'll discuss, I mean see how AEM architecture works, I mean with dispatcher. So what will happen, the first here you can think of it like a user. It is internet user which is hitting any URL on AEM. Okay, so what will happen, it first it will land onto the load balancer. I mean obviously the DNS resolution will happen, but then DNS resolution will give the I mean URL for the load balancer or IP for the load balancer, and then that load balancer will forward that traffic to the dispatcher, which is Apache plus dispatcher module onto it. So basically guys, dispatcher is nothing but an Apache server with dispatcher module installed on it. Okay, and then dispatcher will know the backend instance through vhost, or if you are on using AWS ALB I mean load balancer, then it in the target group there will be, I mean dispatcher servers, and then dispatcher knows the backend publish instances, then that request will forward it to the AEM publish instances, and then that publish instance will process those requests and forward those requests to the, I mean displays the result on the client side. Okay, and that request also comes to AEM author instance if that is for AEM author instance. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. Then we'll move next. So here also you can see what will happen if we are using dispatcher? So you can see like user requests the page, then that request will go to the dispatcher and it will check if there is cache. I mean that document is content is already present in the cache or not. So if that is present, then that is cache hit, and if that is not present, then that will be a cache miss. So you can see if that is a cache hit, then that content will be served from the cache and it will be a fast also. And if that is not in cache, then it will called as cache miss, and it will then for request will go to the backend instance, and then that will publish instance will process that request and will forward again back to the client. Okay, so what are the dispatcher components? So like it's an Apache HTTP server, I told you already. Then has the dispatcher module. You can see like mod underscore dispatcher.so gets installed, and then there is dispatcher.any configuration httpd.conv host files, which you need to write, I mean according to your need. We'll see later on in this lecture. You can see like there is a, in the especially to AEM architecture, there is folder called mnt slash mnt where www slash html, the root directory of this dispatcher. So these are like dispatcher.any configuration. So basically forward slash cache, then cache locations, then we have rules, then we have invalidate section, then we have allowed clients. So you can review these things in the dispatcher manual page. I'll explain also in later on. So what gets cached ultimately? So like HTML pages, basically guys, you can configure which things to cache and which things not to cache. Okay, so just for better clarity, what we cache like HTML pages, images, CSS, JavaScript, static content. Okay, so these are things which gets cached and which should not get cached. If there is any personalized content, any user specific data which is just tied to that particular user, any dynamic forms, session based content, admin pages, any secure content which are getting served, so that should not be get cached. Okay, so we'll see what is cache invalidation. So cache invalidation is nothing but deleting cache, which we called as flushing also. So whenever content changes in AEM author, so you might know like whenever we publish any content in AEM author, in AEM author, that gets replicated to publisher instances through workflow, or you can say there is replication agent works in the backend which processes those requests. Okay, so whenever any content change happens, what it basically does, so like you can see from the workflow, it first author activates the pages, then replication agent sends those first flush request, basically that deletes the cache, then dispatcher receives that request, and then it matches the invalidation rule. So it is not like if you activates any page, it will directly invalidate. You must have to write that rule which you want to invalidate, and then it will delete the cache file, and then request will be next request whenever user hits, it will be a cache miss because the cache is already deleted. And then and then whenever the user request again, then that will be served from the cache, so then it will be a cache hit. So how we can manually flush the dispatcher cache? So there is one method, like you can use replication agent, which is recommended as well. Then there is second method using curl. So as you can see, I've already listed the command. So curl -x, then post method, and then dispatcher URL, and at the end it will be dispatch forward slash dispatcher and invalidate dot cache. And there is third method also, file system, through which like you need to log into the Linux boxes, and you need to go to this path. This is basically a caching path. so you can remove the whole directory. So this will also delete the cache. But remember guys, whenever you delete the cache, you need to be cautious and you need to be take an informed decision, because whenever you delete the cache, all the caches are gone and there will be performance impact also, and the CPU might get high based on the load. So whenever you are deleting the cache, so I mean check whenever you are getting low traffic or doing a maintenance window kind of thing. Okay, let's proceed further. So we'll see load balancing with dispatcher. So like single dispatcher, multiple AEM publish instances. We'll see later. Okay. It's a very short detail on dispatcher. I'll make a bit lengthy video and I'll cover more item onto that. So if you want to get that, I mean dispatcher, please comment on the comment section, and let me also know what if you feel any specific topic which you want to work on, or you want to know that thing in AEM especially. So I'll try to make a video on that. So thank you so much guys. Have a good day. Bye bye. See you.